Halloween
Forever.
Good evening, Stephen and Craig. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
You know, I'm a little under the weather. Got some sort of chest thing. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to try not to hack into the microphone, but otherwise, doing all right. Doing all right. Hey, Steve, are you ready for one?
I am prepared for one.
All right. You know, the best part about working in a morgue remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Whales and ghouls to a very morgy. I don't know. Halloween's forever. I'm Brian.
Welcome to an embalming episode.
I tried to think of something, but I was trying to stifle a cough, and it was just taking all of my brain power, and I could not think of a damn thing. Guys, we're going to talk about, you might be saying, it's not about morgues and things of that nature. Guys, it's because we're talking about a brand new flicky flick from this very year, the year of our Lord 2026. We're doing a little Minisode today talking about the Mortuary Assistant that just dropped on the Shudders I think just this last Friday, perhaps, Stephen. Is that accurate?
Yep. On the Shudders on Friday.
Yeah, directed by one Mr. Jeremiah Kipp. So we're going to talk about that movie this very evening. However, as always, we got some shit we got to do at the top of the show, Stephen. Are you? I saw you slurping on something. It looked wet, but it looked like it was a bottle of water. Are you slurping on some other kind of little wet one over there?
Yeah, I got my water on the other side, but I do have a big old glass of Braggot.
No shit.
Yeah, because I don't know, it just kind of felt like that.
Because I was waiting for the cuz.
Yeah, I felt like it.
Because you're going to a fucking Ren fair tomorrow? Why?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
No, I just fucking felt like it, and it's a barrel-aged Braggot with coconut and vanilla bean. It's 12%. It is from the Omagong brewery.
Okay.
And Superstition Meadery. But I had this one sitting around for a while because the first time I had it, it was really hot and really not good.
Yeah.
And really made me sad.
Yeah.
But I've conditioned it for a minute, and it's actually pretty good now. It's
mellowed?
It still smells like hell. It smells like hell, and I think it's partially because of that barrel aging. But it's actually like really mellow to drink. So I'm fine.
Well, that's
with that.
good. I am not I've had a couple of Braggots. I've judged Braggots in competition before once, and then I was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm not a big mead fan. A Braggot, by the way, for folks at home, is basically a blend of mead and beer. It's basically a mead beer. It's you'd say mead is honey wine, and you blend that with beer, or sometimes you actually, there's different ways of going about it. We're not going to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but imagine a cross between a mead and a beer. Mead being honey wine. Not a big mead guy personally myself. I want to like it, and there's ones I have liked. Apis meaderies, definitely they tend to do some like more modest ABV ones that I really like. But yeah, a lot of times, man, they smell really, really give me the impression they're going to be sickeningly sweet because of that intense honey taste or honey aroma, and I really struggle to get past that. So if it is sweet, even if it's a little sweet, it tends to become like cloying for me. And you just don't get a lot of really dry meads, commercially that often. So yeah, listen, if I'm going to go down that path, I'm probably just going to drink some wine or some cider or something like that. I'm just not a mead guy.
Yeah, see, I found mead as a good replacement because I don't like regular wine. Like regular wine, for whatever reason, just, I don't know, maybe if it's cheaply made or something, it always gave me like a headache. It gave me like hangover headaches before I even went to bed that night.
Sure.
So I always hated that. But like meads, I always found to just be like really crisp and easy to drink. Like you're saying, if you can find like a drier one, they're better. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites, and I don't even know if the meadery's around anymore, but Kingsview out. I believe they're out in the Laurel Mountains area.
Okay.
They used to make some carbonated meads, and those ripped because they were about 6% and they were carbonated, and they were pretty like on the drier side, but they also had like an orange creamsicle one that was pretty solid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. I do like, I love I love a little bubbles. I love a little spritzy carbonation. So even when I'm drinking wine, and I enjoy different types of wine and things of that nature, but I do tend to gravitate towards sparkling wines, proseccos and champagnes and things of that nature. Not that I'm drinking champagne on a regular basis like I'm fucking Great Gatsby over here, but yeah, I don't know. The mead just, I don't know, not my cup of tea. Speaking of cups of tea, like I said, I'm dealing with some chest cold and sore throat here, so I am not drinking any type of booze. I'm drinking on a nice little mug of lemon ginger tea just to really control myself from coughing into the microphone. This is purely, purpose driven here, right? This is a utilitarian beverage this evening. I'm just trying to keep my coughs at bay, at least for, the hour or two that we're recording. So nothing too exciting for me. But I am sipping on a little warm tea.
Yeah, you could have just been drinking, honey straight and then gone with that.
I should have just drank I should just sucked off that old bear teat down in the cabinet. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Dan in the chat reminded us, is it Palm Sunday, guys? I think it might be. I missed it. Damn it. Once again this year, I missed it. Yeah, we're recording this on the Sunday before it'll come out tomorrow, which is quite often the case. But we are no coincidences today. We're not doing any type of religious or Lenten horror. We're doing a goddamn video game movie, which I can't wait to talk about. But we got a couple other things. Don't get ahead of yourself here. First of all, Steven, why don't you tell the Boils and Ghouls about our upcoming showdown, which will be, good God, next week already. Tell them about that showdown and our guests and all that fun stuff, because we got to pick some movies.
Yeah, so for our April Showdown, we spun the spinny-ass wheel that we have that has hundreds upon thousands of different subtopics that they can all just be genres of movies, genres of horror, specific actors, which is what we'll be talking about for April. But it's a whole bunch of things, and you can submit all those if you want. You can give us ideas on social media, and you can find us everywhere on social media at Halloween is Forever. So jump on there, give us suggestions, and maybe your topic will wind up on the spinny ass wheel and maybe wind up in a showdown. April's Showdown was voted upon by the audience, and we will be talking about the best of Vincent Price films. Yeah, which is the first time for the show. We haven't talked. We talk about Vincent Price a lot, but we've never talked about his movies specifically. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be doing that with our friend Antonio from the Cultworthy podcast. He's out there more towards the West Coast, and he is, we've had him on before to talk best soundtracks, and you guys seem to team up and come together on the theremin pretty hard against me, despite Colin Stetson being one of the most genius music makers currently. But sure, you guys can act like that.
Hey, if he peppered in, that's all I'm asking. Just pepper in a little theremin. I'm not saying exclusively, but pepper it in.
But yes, Antonio will be rejoining us to talk about Best of Vincent Price, and he sent me his pick for the film that he would like to represent next week. And I was pretty bummed out. And Brian was also bummed out. And I think we're both bummed out for different reasons.
Oh, okay. I know the reason I'm bummed out.
Yeah.
Is because I was going to pick this movie.
Right. Yes. So Brian originally was going to pick this movie. But unfortunately for Brian, Antonio gets first picked as guest, and he will be choosing Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's also one of my favorite, I guess technically it's a novella by Richard Matheson. And it's been spun off into a bunch. Well, oh my God, why am I completely blanking on the name of it?
Which one? There's The Last Man on Earth. There's the Omega Man. There's the Twilight Zone episode. There's
the Legend. Book is I Am Legend. Thank you. All I kept thinking of was I, Robot.
Oh, okay.
I Am
also
Legend.
Will Smith.
Yeah, I Am Legend is the Richard Matheson novella that was interpretations, many interpretations. There's an I Am Legend movie called I Am Legend with Will Smith in it. There's the Omega Man with Charlton Heston, and then of course The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, and there's probably other ones I don't even know about, but all based on I Am Legend. So yes, and this is the 1964 version with Vincent Price, and this is just a comfort watch for me. I love watching this. Like I've seen this movie 100 times. Like this is one I just throw on in the background. So I was excited, and I'm excited because we still get to talk about it, but I don't get to represent it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that also felt like a bummer for me because Antonio picked the film that you love the most, and so it seems like it's going to be really hard for me to get any votes, and I almost completely just threw everything away with my pick and just said, well, we're going to watch Body Heat then. Like,
well, I'm not saying
Heat.
it's
Not
Vincent Price.
Body Heat.
Yeah.
Body Heat's a different movie.
I didn't even question it. I'm not saying that it's the best Vincent Price movie. I'm just saying it's it's my favorite. That doesn't mean it's the best. So.
All right. Well, that I'm willing to, give it a minute, and I'm willing to pull back and not just throw everything away for Dead Heat. I did pick a more campy film that I think it's just kind of a more for me than it is for anybody else, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe it'll sway Antonio. Who knows? We'll see.
All right.
I am going to go with Theater of Blood.
Oh, that's a fun one. Theater of Blood. What's the year on that flick?
I believe it is either 74 or 77. Because I think I'm getting it mixed up with Madhouse. Madhouse was 74. But yeah, 77 I believe is. 73 actually. My bad.
73. All right. Listen, for a quick second, whenever you told me what Antonio was picking, I did think about just picking Monster Party and just saying fuck you guys, and then we just do a stupid, which I genuinely do love that movie, but it is bad. I mean, gratuitous use of just rubber masks from a Halloween store. But it's a fun little anthology with just the wraparound being Vincent Price and David Carradine. But okay, so I'm going to go. I'm between two. Geez Louise. Okay, I'm gonna go with. I'm going to play it a little bit safe here because we do have a guest this time around. And I've been bitten in the butt many a time going with the wacky pick. Not that that would be wacky, but anyway, I'm going to go with a little bit more predictable one, but I'm going to go with Frederick Loren's 1959 classic House on Haunted Hill. I love that movie too. That is another one of my Vincent Price comfort films that I put on quite frequently. I also recently just watched it because not that many weeks ago, it was on The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs this past season. The final season, unfortunately, of The Last Drive-In on Shudder. But we'll talk about that in a second, why I'm souring on Shudder more by the fucking day. But I'm going to talk about House on Haunted Hill from 1959. It was between that and the abominable Dr. Phibes, which I think is a really fun. Those movies are just fucking bonkers.
Sure.
But I'm going to do House on Haunted Hill. So, so just to recap, I'm going to talk about 1959 House on Haunted Hill. Steve's going to talk about Theater of Blood from 73, and Antonio from the Cultworthy podcast, our old pal, coming back to talk about, well, and to steal my goddamn movie, he's going to talk about Last Man on Earth from 1964. So join us next Monday as we do our little April Showdown. And then once we get all that Showdown stuff out of the way, then we can start talking blasphemy, right? We could start talking about Easter related things and that sort of stuff. Then we can really get on a blasphemous path for the remainder of Lent. Now, speaking of blasphemous paths, for you guys who don't follow us over on the Patreon, patreon.com/Halloween is forever. We're going down quite a path here currently. Stephen and I are on our 1, 2, 3. This is, I think, the fourth, right? Fourth Patreon. Third. Okay. Good God. Third Patreon exclusive podcast series. And we're doing a little cinema.
Fourth series, but third episode of that series.
Yes. Okay, good. I was going to say, I thought it was fourth because I was like, wait, we did Fast and the Furious. We did Family is Forever. Steve made me watch all the Fast and the Furious movies. Then I did like bonkers shitfuck right-wing Christian propaganda horror movies for 10 months. And then Steve turned back around and did the comedy, the 90s comedies with horror ties, the 90s are forever. And now I am doing God is Not Forever, a cinematic journey towards our ultimate goal, which is to, of course, kill God. That's what we're trying to figure out how to perform deicide. So we're learning a little bit about that. We just recorded our March episode, which will be coming out pretty darn quick here, where we've done Altered States, right? Mm-hmm. And then after that, we did Begotten, which is a fucking absolutely bonkers movie. And then just yesterday, or 2 days ago, we recorded an episode where we talked about Takashi Miike film called Izo, which was one of the more bonkers fucking watches I've had in a while. And then next month, you may want to tune in, and then you can learn what we're going to talk about next month. But yeah, you obviously get access to that for $5 little dollary dues every month, almost $0. I mean, $5's closer to zero than some monies. Give them to us. You get that. You get to join us here in the Discord as we record live, interact with us in chat and all those things while we're recording. You get recos and write-ups and things that Steve posts. You get extra votes on the Discord for Showdown episodes. You get tons of shit. Is there something else I'm forgetting, Steve?
No, not at the moment. But I mean, yeah, you just get access to all of the things that we post and all the things that we suggest, all the things that we recommend, including other podcasts. That happens too. But yeah. You also just have general more leverage, I would say, because we do allow our patrons to give us more recommendations, and we'll take, if you have a recommendation for an episode you want to hear, we generally will just take it from our patrons because they're paying for it. So why not do an episode for them?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just got a whole bunch of other just goodies and gewgaws and gaffs and guffaws.
Doodads.
Yeah. I was thinking of G words. But just to
my idiot dog trying to open a door just now. He just spazzed out and then got stuck in the door, and he's too big and fat, and it was really funny. Sorry, I couldn't. I was watching him, and he got out. It was really impressive. He opened the door, got out, but he like pinched himself in the door and freaked out and kicked an ironing board. And sorry, complete non sequitur, but it was too funny. I couldn't not laugh.
But yeah, you get all that stuff on patreon.com/Halloween is forever. And like Brian said, you get to be a part of the Discord and ask questions like Dan just did as to, nobody's picking 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. And it's like, no, because he wasn't.
That's a good one, though.
I don't know if he serves as much. Like, it feels like a dead heat situation.
Yeah.
Where he's a part of it, but it's more of it's a silly movie, and he's not that much of a part of it. He's a part of it, but not that much a part.
Yeah, no, I agree. Certainly not the star of it or anything like that, but I do love a Scooby-Doo. I do love a Scooby-Doo. All right. Patreon.com/Halloween is forever. And also go check us out on all the social medias, like Steve said. And if you got some shit, questions, suggestions, that sort of stuff, and you don't go on the social medias, and really, why would you? You probably should shoot us one of them old-fashioned emails. We do got one of those, HalloweensForever@gmail.com. Okay. Let us get in to this movie. And I want to preface it by saying, because I did tease a little bit, for those of you who are avid horror fans and keep up with new films and all that sort of stuff, and any longtime horror fans probably have at least some experience or knowledge of the great Joe Bob Briggs. He's a big, I'm personally a big fan. And they announced that Shudder canceled The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. But there's also some chatter on the interwebs that it is already, they're already working on getting it picked up somewhere else, because it was quite popular. And I think it seems like it's like classic, corporate restructure strategy bullshit, where some new dickhead comes in and just fucks everything up, to make his or her mark on the business, and they make fucking stupid decisions. So, Shudder is owned by AMC, who's probably owned by fucking, Nestle's or fucking Smith and Wesson or some fucking shit. Who knows? But these dickheads are going to fuck stuff up. Like, you can't have good stuff for forever. And that show went, it was like, 7 seasons or something. I can't believe it lasted as long as it did. But between that and frankly, just like in my opinion, significant drop off in quality of most of the Shudder, quote unquote, Shudder originals over the last couple of years. I think once the last Joe Bob special airs, I might tell Shudder to go fuck itself and just go. There's too many other good streaming services, popping up nowadays. I've been a big fan of them for a long time, but yeah, I would argue there's not too many good streaming services. I would argue that they're all shit. Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I think, I've been of the mind of like, yeah, I liked Shudder, and it was the only one I've paid for like monthly. And then every other streaming service, I will let like a catalog of things I want to watch build up and subscribe.
Sure.
For like a month or whatever. But I think, same with you. I think Shudder might just get pushed into that, like, I'll subscribe for like a month or two to watch what I want to watch. And then I'm going to fuck off for a bit and let them build up some better stuff again. Because like I don't know. It's just like the nickel and diming and the lack of good original programming on all of these services is just not worth it anymore.
Yeah, there's like they had a couple of good series like over the years. Like I said, 90% of the reason I kept it and didn't just do like AMC Plus, which has all the Shudder movies and shit on it, is to get the live stream so I could watch The Last Drive-In when it aired. You know what I mean? And like, I have been a big fan of the community around that. And, I went to 2 of the drive-in jamborees, in person in Vegas and out in Layton in Eastern PA. And like, I honestly, the main reason I've held on it forever is The Last Drive-In. And they are going to have a few specials throughout the balance of the year. But I think literally the second the last special's over, I'm canceling that shit. I've been like Arrow has a really cool streaming service. I don't know if you're familiar at all with Eternal Family, but they've got some weird shit over there. And then, Tubi satisfies a large percentage of my needs as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to air my fucking grievances with Shudder and them doing away with The Last Drive-In, which I think is a fucking mistake. In any case, case in point, in fact, we are talking about a Shudder original Mortuary Assistant that came out this year, which is based on a Vidya game. Steve, did you play any of this on this here particular Vidya game?
I saw it and like I watched like some other like maybe YouTube like let's plays of the game when it first came out. And it's just like watch like maybe like 20-30 minutes of a game just to see what it was about and probably put it on my Steam wish list to never be bought or downloaded because I never have money. But the game seemed pretty cool and it seemed like a game I would play. And I wanted to like kind of do this as an episode because I think it's kind of indicative of maybe a new trend that's happening in horror films, because we're seeing more and more indie games get picked up and turned into indie horror movies.
Yeah.
So we have like Five Nights at Freddy's coming out with Blumhouse, I think was like the real spark to all of it.
Yep.
But then you just had that movie earlier this year by that streamer Markiplier. I don't watch his stuff.
Okay.
But he made his own movie called Iron Lung. And
I know I'm familiar with the game Iron Lung. Like I've never played it, but I know of it.
Yeah, so it was made into a movie by a streamer.
Okay.
And like he did really well. Like I'm only aware of it because it did really well at the box office versus because he financed everything, so he made his own money back hard.
Interesting.
Is why I'm aware of it.
Okay.
Because it was another kind of like Skinamarink story almost of like a guy who put in all his money and then fucking tripled it or quadrupled it at the box office.
Okay. I'll add that to the old watch list here. I didn't realize there was a movie adaptation of it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out on streaming to watch, but it was in theaters. And so like he took a big gamble in like putting it in a bunch of theaters. He was gambling basically that his streamer audience would go see it, and they showed up for him. So it was a cool story.
Is it
Markiplier?
Okay. Is this Mark Fishbach?
I guess that's his real name. Yeah.
Is that his real name? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This dude has got some bold, some bold decisions here. He's got some. He's acted in a bunch of films as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. So there's that. There's that. The upcoming Backrooms movie from I think it's from A24 or Neon, one of the two of them.
Yeah.
And then we talked about it a little bit at the end of our Patreon episode, but there's an Exit 8 movie coming out soon as well to theaters in April. So I just thought it was like an interesting trend to jump on, and we can jump on it with this Shudder movie.
Yeah. This is there's definitely a lot to talk about here. I will throw out there right at the top, not a great film by any stretch of the imagination. Mostly couldn't give a shit less about this movie, but I do find it interesting. What's that?
I was just gonna say this movie like moved over me like a weird smell, like it.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy it, but it wasn't enough to like make me turn it off or get out of my seat and investigate. Like every now and then, a skunk will spray a deer in the woods behind my office window, and I'll smell like a little faint thing of skunk.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of this movie was. Like, it was just like faint skunk smell. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I described it similarly. I described it as the most recent Evil Dead remake plus Ghost Dad, but infinitely more forgettable than both. It is, and only mention Ghost Dad because there is in fact a Ghost Dad,
an actual Ghost Dad.
I cannot. I don't think I've ever brought this up, but I cannot not laugh when I see like something about a dead dad in a movie. I immediately to myself go, "Ooh, Ghost Dad," and then I laugh to myself.
Ghost Dad.
But yeah, well, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. We mentioned Jeremiah Kipp is as the director. And this gentleman, I saw he had 31 film credits, directorial credits, I'm sorry, 7 writer credits. And I was like, oh, I'm sure I've seen more stuff of his then. And then I looked and I was like, oh, I've only ever seen one other movie of his, which was that Slapface from, a handful of years ago, which I thought was okay. Like I remember it, and I remember not disliking it. And then that was about the extent of my memory of that movie. And then I have not seen anything else from him. And have you seen anything else on this list from one Mr. Kipp?
Yeah, I mean, on IMDb he has like 63 credits because he has an extreme amount of like shorts that he's directed.
Oh, interesting.
More so than I would think for somebody who's doing features. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like he seems to do like a feature, and then that feature gets 4 stars, and then he does about 10 or 15 shorts, and then does another feature, and that feature gets 4 stars.
He uses the shorts to crawl out of the hole of the features.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it really looks like, and I hate to say it that way, but it is like it seems like his highest rated like feature film is a film called The Geechee Witch, A Boo Hag Story. And it has 6.4 on IMDb, which, I mean, that's not great. Also, also relatedly, The Mortuary Assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I was earlier today when I was like just looking up cast and crew and everything, and like this is within the same day. It was at a 4.0, and in that 6 hours since I watched the movie and did research, it's gone down to a 3.9. So
it's dropping a little bit. Yeah, it's sitting at a balmy 1.8 on Letterboxd right now. And listen, I don't want to pile on the guy. He was making movies, right? Good for him.
Right, yeah.
Respect to him for making fucking movies and getting them made and getting them out there in front of people. But yeah, I think we probably share some sentiments here. I'll read the Letterboxd blurb here. Tagline is "Alone with the Dead." Rebecca Owens, a recent mortuary science graduate, takes a night shift job at River Fields Mortuary, which, well, let me finish this and then I'll try to halt my ADHD for a second. Initially, the job seems straightforward: embalming bodies, completing paperwork, and keeping things tidy. But once Rebecca starts working the night shift, things take a dark turn. So a nice little teaser, if not a bit wordy. Speaking of institutions and things of that nature, I forgot to mention on the last podcast, last time we recorded, I guess, I was recently down in Kentucky and in Bowling Green specifically. For those who are big John Carpenter fans, know that that's his hometown. And the amount of things that you see, it's like being in Bangor, Maine, and just seeing things that are like, oh, that's clearly there's a hardware store named like Flag Hardware, and you're like, oh shit, know what I mean? Yeah. That's that type of stuff. I literally drove through Smith's Grove outside of Bowling Green, Smith's Grove Sanitarium. Great. And it's crazy the amount of stuff down there that you just see that like he just took all the naming conventions for certain things from, just areas in his hometown. So, yeah, I was geeking out about that. I was in the car by myself, like, it's Smith Grove, like pointing at the sign, like everyone looking at me like in traffic, like, you're a fucking idiot. What's wrong with this person? He's having a fit. But completely unrelated, non sequitur, but I figured you'd appreciate that.
I do. And then I'm going to make the audience madder by going on an added tangent just to that. I don't know if you saw it, but they had a Guinness World Record meeting of the most people dressed like Michael Myers, and they all met in front of the fucking house out in California.
Oh no, there's poor people that live in that house. In like Burbank, isn't it in like outside Burbank or something?
It's like outside of Burbank.
Yeah.
It was so funny because it's a video and it's the Guinness World Record people like announcing that they all did it. And there's only like 250 people dressed as Michael Myers.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's not like that much.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's not a lot.
Yeah.
And then the other funny part of the video that made me laugh was like all the people, they're like stabbing their knives in the air, but they're cheering. And it's like, Michael's quiet, you idiots.
Stop cheering.
Know that.
Yeah.
Michael's quiet. Shut up.
250 it's a lot, but also like I feel like we could beat that. If it came down to it, we could probably beat that. Well, good for them. That's fun. Get out of the house, meet some people. I'll never fault anybody for that. But those people who live in that house, I'm sure multiple people over the years who have lived in, the Meyer house. And they always, I think some people are nicer than others about it, but I do remember like at one point seeing a picture of it somebody took, and there was like a sign outside that said like, please stay off our porch. We live here, kind of thing.
Yeah. Right.
Because people are fucking obnoxious. You know what I mean? They're probably running up on the porch, peeking in the windows and being fucking creeps. But all right, back to, God, I feel like maybe we should just spend the entire episode talking about fucking Halloween tangents, because I don't want to talk about the Mortuary Assistant. That's not true. There's a couple things that are interesting. But as far as the performers here, we have Willa Holland plays Rebecca. I have not seen her in anything else. She was in, well, that's not true. I saw her in Legion, did not realize she was in Legion.
Yeah.
And then I did not watch the remake from 2011 of Straw Dogs. Feels unnecessary. And yeah, I have not seen her in anything else, but I think she is known for being on a couple of TV series, right?
Probably. Yeah. I did not recognize her at all. She honestly just kind of looked like a younger Marina Baccarin. If you know who that is.
I don't. I have to Google her.
You'd have to Google her, but as far as TV shows, she is on that TV show Arrow, and then subsequently all the other CW, like DC, third-rate like TV shows. Sure. And all the Flash, and so she's on those, and I think that's what people know her the most from. She's a voice on the Kingdom Hearts games.
All right. Fair enough.
And yeah, that's really about it. She was on the OC. I didn't watch that either. So
yeah. But I mean, Kate might. I remember she watched that where was talked about watching that way back in the day, but that could not have been farther from something I was paying attention to at the time. Paul Sparks, who plays Mr. Delver. Apparently his first name's Raymond. He has a pretty impressive filmography here in terms of like some big budget things, but I don't think he's playing huge parts in most of these. But he was in The Greatest Showman. He was in Schenectady, New York. Oh my God, I can never say that. Schenectady, New York, which is one of the weirdest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
I love that movie.
It is. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
He was in that movie, which was not well, people seem to like it. I was not a fan of it, but Mud, that Matthew McConaughey vehicle from the early 2010s. He's been in a ton of shit.
Yeah.
And then John Adams, who plays the aforementioned Ghost Dad, not in it a ton, but he has been in a lot of genre films in recent years. He was in Hellbender, which, if I recall, I liked. Was that the one you weren't a big fan of? I can't remember.
I didn't love it. He's also the director of Hellbender.
Oh, fun. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Toby. Oh, I have directed by Zelda Adams and Toby Poser for Hellbender. But then there's other people involved. Well, maybe there's more people involved.
I have John Adams, Zelda Adams, and Toby Poser.
Oh, okay, because it's cut off here, and then it won't let me bring up the rest of it. I see.
Because they also have the more recent Mother of Flies, which came out last year as well.
Yeah, I did not see that one. I did watch Hellhole from a couple of years ago. A lot of them are more than a couple, I think, Shudder originals on here. And maybe not. That might be an overstatement. I don't know if Mother of Flies was.
Mother of Flies was. I don't think Hellhole was.
Okay.
But I think Hellhole did eventually wind up on Shudder.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did watch it on Shudder.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I liked Hellhole enough. It was good enough.
Yeah, he plays Ghost Dad, and then that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of other people in here. There's a grandma that shows up for a minute. There is Mark Steger, who is mostly plays a lot of costume characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a Doug Jones type.
Yes,
and that you'll never recognize him because he's pretty much always in costume. But he is in like a lot of stuff that people, would know and would enjoy. So
yeah, he plays the weird little pale, skinny fucking monster thing in this movie. He was in. Oh, speaking of coincidence, he was a monster in I Am Legend. He was in The Nun, Men in Black, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, tons of shit. And he was actually very recently here. He played the like, how do I describe it? The like corpse that Frankenstein is working on, like the spine of, and it's like bent over. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? He played that corpse, soon to be reanimated corpse. So
again, a Doug Jones type. He works with Guillermo del Toro and is a corpse.
Yep.
And does something gross and weird.
All right. So that's, I think those are the cast worth calling out here.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie starts off with the doctor, but Mr. Delver, he's like the boss mortician, and Becca, who is the student, becoming like an official full-time like mortuary assistant, right? And right off the bat, this jumps in, and this is going to be a trend of what I want to talk about with this movie the whole way through. Is it just feels like a video game. They really, if there's one thing they did a great job of, I never played the game. I did a little bit of research on it. I heard people talking about, people who played the game talking about the movie. And it does feel like people who are fans of the game seem to like the movie more than people who have never played it. So I think that it does treat the game like as gospel, kind of like they really stick close to it, not across the board, but it feels very video game, like gameplay kind of. Like, I swear to God, there's a portion where it's just a tutorial. Like, we're just watching a fucking tutorial. It's very strange.
I believe the game's creator or writer or narrative designer, however he credits himself for the game, but Brian Clark is also credited not just as like the basis of the film, but like gets a written by credit. So I think he may have done some actual writing on the script of this film, which is why like there are. Okay, so like I said, I watched a little bit of the game because I was like, oh yeah, here's a fun horror game that I would want to play. And just to set it up for the audience, the game is you do a first person investigation of a body, and you look over a body and you look for specific marks, and then you compare those marks to the demonology notes that you have. And then that tells you how to expel the demon in the body on the slab.
Yep.
And that's basically how this movie eventually progresses. But it's done in such like a choppy, like the progression in a game doesn't work for the progression of a movie.
Right.
And so
doesn't work in it for a narrative. Like in the, you exploring things and figuring them out in your own time does not translate to walking an audience through a narrative.
No, it doesn't. And like in the game, you do a couple bodies and you do a couple exorcisms of the bodies, and there's interstitial periods when you're not investigating that you're getting jump scares and you're getting spooks. Mm-hmm. And so again, that's what this movie tries to do a little bit, because we have sequences of Becca investigating a body, and then she finds herself getting spooked by stuff. And like,
sure.
There's
a couple funny ones that are real dumb.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's one that made me laugh so fucking
Is
hard.
Is it the one like, right after she finds the VHS tapes?
No, it's one before that.
Okay. All right. We'll get to
it. It's one way before that.
Make sure you call it out when we get there. Yeah. Cause there was a couple that I was just like, what the fuck? What were we supposed to think happened there? But yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? It's like it's progressing like a video game, not like an hour and 25-minute long movie. And interestingly enough, the Exit 8 movie, I'm sure we'll talk about it when it's released as streaming. I know it's getting I think primarily an overseas theatrical release. I don't know if, I'm sure you could see somewhere here, but I don't know if it's going to be anywhere near where we live. But once it's streaming, we'll probably talk about it. But that movie is that game is almost the opposite in that there is no story. So I'm curious of like how they're going to drag that out. You know what I mean? But anyway, they really stick super close with this movie to the story, and even like a lot of the gameplay elements from what I understand. But yeah, so right off the bat, we know something's happening, and the boss mortician knows about it. And it's a lot of like, he might as well like look at the corpses and they wink at each other. Like, it's just, things are happening. Corpses are twitching and eyes are opening and things. And Becca doesn't see it, but he knows about it, and we don't know why. Also, it really feels almost PlayStation 1. The voice acting is Resident Evil 1 level bad. The dialogue is Resident Evil 1 voice acting level bad for the gentleman who plays the mortician. And I don't know if this is on purpose, if this is something that I'm not getting for the context with the game, but I don't know if I've ever heard more stilted dialogue in a movie that was not shot on a camcorder.
I think it had to be on purpose, because again, it's part of the game that you get creepy phone calls, and you get creepy phone calls from, the owner of the mortuary, and, the voiceover, like the game is part of that, 1 to 3 dev team, small game that only is like 4 or 5 hours long. Something like that, So it's really easy to produce and put out and, just kind of get your foot in the door of making video games. And assets that go along with those games, especially voice acting, come at a premium. And voice acting in that game is bad, because I don't know if it's just because they didn't have an actor for it, or the actor they hired is just kind of ass. I don't believe they used AI, because I think the game would have been a little too early for good AI to do voice acting for. But yeah, so like the voice acting's bad, and then when it's bad in the movie, on the phone calls, that's immediately what made me go on IMDb and start researching. I was like, wait, did they just hire the guy from the game to do it? Because it sounds fucking ass. Yeah. It's just like, it's monotone, it's droning, and the dialogue is meh. And I'm like, what the fuck? You can't do that to an audience.
It almost, and there's a fine line between like really paying, fan service to people who played the game, and putting this out on a broadly distributed streaming service where there's going to be the vast majority of people who have never played your game. You know what I mean? So like, just feels like a strange decision. I tend to agree. I do feel it feels so bad. It's on purpose. Like he was directed to act like that. Like he's a professional actor. You know what I mean? This guy's been in a lot of things. So like, I do not think he was phoning it in that much, or is that bad. I mean, I think he's obviously a good actor. So like he could have done a better job, but I feel like he was directed to say the lines like this. But boy, is it distracting.
Well, because his demeanor does change later in the film, but it's just because when he finally reveals like that he knows that everything is going on, and that he has like, oh yeah, I've been drawing on myself. Like I got to keep the demons away. Like when we get to that part, like his demeanor does change and he drops kind of the stilted, just like monotone line delivery. But yeah, I think he was really like directed to do it this way. And it's like,
I mean, if he drops it, it's only temporary. Cause I swear there's a scene like really late in the movie where it was one of the most noticeable points for me, where I was just like, who says a line like that? Like, anyway, I think we'll get to it, cause I think I took it down in my notes, but it's doing a lot of the like, don't go downstairs. You can't work the night shift. Like just a lot of reasons, very obvious video game reasons why you should start to think something bad or weird or scary is happening. We get a little bit of, indication very early on. Becca has some like substance abuse issues. And yeah, they kind of stick to this gameplay loop thing here. And I get it. It's fan service, but like she gets left, she's just doing the day shift. She's kind of learning the ropes. And then we get a little bit of her kind of home life, if you will. We meet her sponsor at an AA meeting. And then really things kick off when the boss mortician calls her late at night in a thunderstorm, which makes it very scary. And basically says like, hey, we have this, abnormal scenario where we got transferred these 3 bodies from the, I don't know, city mortuary or whatever. And we got to embalm them and also cremate them, which is abnormal for her. So she's like, okay, whatever, the boss is trusting me with this, but it's at night. And he said you could never work at night, whatever. The one thing I will say, lot of practical effects in this movie, although I would say not a ton of them are used to great like scare effects. It's more just like gross out effects, or just like showing the graphic tedium of being a mortician. You know what I mean? And doing all this mortuary stuff. It's very clinical in that way. But yeah, as you might expect, bodies start waking up, all this type of shit. We do get the scene of the boss mortician, like you mentioned, like giving himself a prison style tattoo on his chest, which are like, all right, we knew something bad was happening with this guy. Something weird's happening. We get a little bit of backstory. This is overall, I think symptomatic of a game based on, I'm sorry, a movie based on a game that is not like really super narrative driven. We don't get a lot of backstory. And for that reason, we don't, or character development. So we don't really care about the characters that much. We learned Becca was raised by her grandma. Something happened to her dad, but like, we haven't really learned to give a shit about her at this point, even though I think it's an okay performance.
It's an okay performance, and they also like front load it with us already recognizing her as like an unreliable narrator, because they're like, oh, okay, she has substance abuse problems and she still gets weird headaches about whatever, and she sees her dad sees something at the AA meetings, and then so when it starts devolving into, oh, is there demons? Is there not demons? Is there ghosts? And it's like, yeah, no, there's ghosts. Like, why else would we be here in this movie at this time? Of course there's ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah. The Mortuary Assistant, I don't think is going to be like a psychological thriller here. Like, we know there's some goddamn demons or ghosts or something supernatural happening. We've also you've already given that away with us as a third person, not even through the lens or perspective of Becca. Us as the audience are seeing things going on with the main the boss, that Becca is not seeing. So we know things are happening independent of Becca's brain.
Exactly. Yeah. So much of the scares in this movie is just out of her sight. Like
Dan says, it's also in the movie description too.
Yes, it's also in the movie description.
That's true too, Dan. Yeah, listen. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, strangely, there are so many scares that happen with Becca not near or involved. Like, we see plenty of like bodies
Isn't
wake
this a
up.
first-person game?
Like, yeah, it's a first-person game, but now we have to watch as a first-person movie.
I know.
Yeah, scare, but I'm not involved. Scare Becca, don't scare me. You can't get me.
I know. It's just, it's poorly. It's just poorly written. I don't know how else to say it. And just more spooky things happen that would happen in a horror game. The lights go out. Thunderstorm, lights go out. There's also some shit which is impossible to care about. And it is the mechanics of the game, where there are certain tasks you have to complete to figure out which corpse you need to burn and how you dispose of which demon and blah, blah, blah in the game, with like sigils and symbols and shit like that. It's not explained at all we'll get to when there is a time when Becca asks for an explanation and is just denied one.
Oh my God, I laughed so fucking hard when that happened.
So bonkers. She's like, what does all this mean? He's like, there's no time.
Don't ask. I don't know. You don't know. It doesn't matter. It's like the fact that it just came out as it doesn't matter. I was like, you just nuked your own movie, dude. You can't say it doesn't matter in a movie.
Oh, we'll get to that part.
Everything has to matter. Everything has to matter.
No, it was crazy. It was such a crazy move. I have like a full paragraph about that in my notes. Yeah, so there's just no reason to care about any of that stuff. And spoiler alert, we never gain a reason to care. A body disappears. Then shit really starts hitting the fan. She starts getting calls from her dead dad. She hallucinates that she has like this wound. And then it goes away. Mysterious messages left on, fogged up windows. Just standard ghost shit, demon shit, whatever. Her sponsor shows up. This was the only point where I started to get a little bit hopeful. Is her sponsor shows up to her door. We're in her apartment at this point. Her sponsor shows up. Things start to get a little heated in the conversation. The sponsor's is accusing her of drinking or like going off the wagon kind of thing. And then Becca goes batshit, bites her finger off, and then sticks a corkscrew in her ear and kills her. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like, things are going sideways now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nah. The boss just calls and is like, I can explain everything. Bad things are happening. Go back to work. And she's like, okay. And then leaves her apartment and then sees the sponsor show up. And of course, then the sponsor that she saw and she killed wasn't the real one, obviously. But
yeah,
even for that little sequence, I was like, okay, even it's stupid that she's going back. If you just think you murdered somebody, and then your boss calls at night and goes, you got to come back to the office. Like, what instance are you doing that?
Yeah.
But this whole sequence, I was like, I had some higher. It elevated my expectations a little bit.
Yeah, it brought me up too, because at this point, there's no reason for her to still work at the mortuary.
Yeah.
Like, if things are going sideways for you, just fucking leave. Because it's never, it's never clear as to why, like, she's really working there to begin with, and she has nothing keeping her there when things get hard until this moment where she kills her sponsor. And it's like, oh, like, maybe she's got to take her sponsor's body and burn it in the crematorium.
Mhm.
And, like she has to figure everything out while she's like, it felt like, okay, we're in a movie now that it's an exorcism movie. It's a possession movie, but there are no priests. So she has to exorcise herself.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we're also like dipping our toe into the subtext of the way addicts ruin the people's lives around them.
Mhm.
Like, she kills her sponsor off because she's relapsed. Okay, like that, there's a subtext to that.
Sure.
That, she lost the trust of somebody that was supposed to be close to her. But no, they just nuke all that when they bring the sponsor back and she's still alive and everything's okay. And it's like, whatever. Just to jump back, the one spookum that I was talking about.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Really, it happens like shortly right before this scene.
Okay.
But it's when she's in the mortuary and the power's out and she's going down the hallway and they try to do like a long legs little jump scare of there's a black shadow and then it has like red eyes on it.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so much like just a JPEG that they stuck into. And it's just, it couldn't look more like just a piece of cardboard ghost that they stuck out from around a corner and went, yeah. And it's just like, what the fuck? You can't have that in a movie that costs over $500,000. It's not allowed.
It's one of those things where it does look like a Halloween decoration just poking around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. It probably didn't look as bad. I was watching it on at least that portion I was watching on my phone, so that probably helped it a little bit. But so she goes back to the morgue, and boss mortician is telling her about, basically the boss is explaining a bad movie to her. Like, he's like, demons, they hang out in corpses and try to jump to living people from the corpses. And this is where it just feels like a game tutorial. He is explaining how to progress in the game. And where, okay. And then we have sigils, and then we have these certain little pieces of paper. I don't even remember what he calls them. And then there's symbols and all this stuff. And she stops and it's like, where does all this stuff come from? And he says, it doesn't matter. That is a quote. She says, where does all this stuff come from? His response, it doesn't matter. He says something like, it's been so long since I learned this that it sounds weird to other people, but it doesn't matter. We don't have time. I'm like, this is a movie that we're watching.
The perfect time. This is a movie.
We're watching this movie.
This is the one time, like, movies are supposed to expand on the lore of what they're selling, what they're adapting. Like, I'm sure I didn't watch the Five Nights at Freddy's fucking movies or play those games or anything. The way I hear it, there's actually like fucking Wikipedia is full of lore on those. I'm sure they expanded a little bit on it. Like even if you go all the way back to the Super Mario Brothers 3 movie from 1993, like there was an expansive lore to that. Like, it wasn't good. It was crazy.
Too much.
It was,
but yeah,
it was drug addled. It was, but the fact that everything is taken over by a fungus, like, they built something out of that. This movie says, no, shut up. Stop asking questions.
Well, I have to think that if Dennis Hopper read a script that said, don't ask, it doesn't matter, he's out. Right?
Yeah.
So in this instance, they're not necessarily trying to lure Dennis Hopper in. But yeah, I wrote in big all caps, shut up. We don't have time for a good script. Like, that is what he's saying. He explains that, like, And I don't know if it's just morticians or if it's just certain people, but they're susceptible to this, and demons want to jump into them from the corpses, and he has this sensitivity and so does she, and so she's kind of possessed, and it's it's never really truly explained. And the weirdest part is that Becca doesn't ask really any questions. Now, in her defense, she did ask one question and was promptly told it doesn't matter. But
yeah,
it is unclear to the audience what the nature of the effects of this demonic entity or entities are on Becca and the mortician, the boss mortician. It's never explained, and it's purposefully never explained because they want to use it as like a big reveal / twist at the end. And it's dumb because it feels like something we should have known a long time ago, like it should have been something that would have come up as the first thing. Right. But we don't know what that is yet. And so I'll hold on to it. But she's like seeing her grandma, her dad. There's a scene where her grandma comes and starts like is a corpse, I guess. I don't know. It is like banging on the window. It's a ghost grandma, whatever. She's banging on the window outside, looking in. That could have been an impactful scene if we knew anything about her relationship with her grandma and saw her for more than 5 seconds in a flashback earlier. Her dad keeps coming back, and ghost dad's showing up and saying creepy shit. She's fighting and burning corpses for a while. We don't know why or how, or really how it's affecting the story and the progression and the effects of the demons on her. And then the boss calls, and you're like, oh, was the other boss that was here explaining all those things actually who she was talking to? And did he not know the answers to basic functions of the story because it wasn't actually him? Like they do the unreliable narrator thing almost too much, where they like inception themselves, where we're like, okay, who is anybody now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And if it had a really good payoff, then it would be cool, but it doesn't. So it's not.
So instead you're just generally confused. Again, this is a thing that works in the game because you're answering phone calls from who you think is your boss, and he's telling you to do crazy stuff like cut your wrists and shit like that. And then you go, no, I wouldn't do that. But like, as a game player, you obviously don't have the ability to cut your wrists or anything. You just you're just told to do that because you're getting spooked out. And then you hang up the phone and you go back to investigating the body or whatever. Mm-hmm. In this movie, she follows along with what she's being told by the fake, mortician. And then, I don't know, it doesn't, she gets surprised later when he calls back and tells her, oh, you did the wrong thing, silly. You've been tricked by a ghost.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. We didn't even know that was part of the thing. I mean, I guess we were hinted at it because of the sponsor earlier, but anyway, this was the part that I thought was really funny. Really funny Band-Aid, but also a dumb jump scare. Is she starts rummaging around, which felt very survival horror game for me. She's just rummaging around in an office, and she finds VHS tapes, instructional VHS tapes, and it has the mortician explaining how to get rid of the demons, essentially in the way that the perhaps fake mortician was telling her earlier. But it was really funny. It was almost like we had to do that thing with the mortician being not the real mortician and you not being able to trust the phone calls that are coming in because that's something that happens in the game. But we do need her to feel confident in the steps that she has to take to, dispatch the demons. So we're going to put him in the form of these VHS tapes that show him doing it.
Yeah.
But the funniest part of the scene is she's rummaging through, looking through the office, some stacks of papers and drawers and shit. She finds the VHS tapes, and then just some shit starts flying off the shelves at her. Just like random papers and like just office supplies just start flying off the shelves at her. No explanation. Was that the demon? Was he trying to scare her away from the instructional VHS tapes? Like what were those things flying off that were chasing her out of the room like meant to be doing? You know what I mean? Or what entity was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed very stupid. But yeah, we talked about she's got to like pick these certain pieces of paper to burn. There are sigils. We also start to understand that there is blood that they need to take from the corpses that I guess have the demon in them. And this creates like a reagent that brings them back to life so that brings the corpse back to life with the demon trapped in it so you can kill it. That's kind of how I understood it. But again, I haven't played the game, but that's kind of, I mean, as an activity or a mechanic in a game, especially like a puzzly type of problem solving game. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
As a movie, a plot element, it's fucking stupid, incredibly stupid and convoluted for no reason.
Yeah, it makes an already convoluted movie more convoluted because we're doing this unreliable narrator thing and we're asking her to solve a puzzle that we don't know the answer to the puzzle. And and we can't get ahead of her and we can't know the nature of anything, but also at the same time, she doesn't really know what she's doing either. And she has no guide really, except for these VHS tapes. And it's just a whole lot of like, you're looking at it and you don't care. Like, I don't care how you get to the answer. You're not getting to the answer in a way that I enjoy, but I don't care how you get there either. So
yeah. The boss mortician explains that he's draining blood out of I guess she's a reanimated corpse named Valerie. Are we meant to know who Valerie is or was when she was alive?
I'm sure that's probably in the game.
Okay, because I was like, who the fuck? Why do we care about Valerie? I mean, I understand she's like a person, but she's a reanimated corpse at this point too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was a little bub, like, I guess.
Yeah, but I have a suspicion, like you said at the beginning of the episode, that this movie is like doing really well among people who've played the game and are really into the game.
Yeah.
I have a suspicion like there's a lot of references in here for people who love the game.
Yeah.
But it is not for people who are outside of the game. I recognized a couple things that I had seen in the game before of you have to match
the teeth
sigils.
Things. Apparently there's shits with teeth in the game. There's you got to do a lot of looking at people's teeth, I think, in the game.
Yeah.
Because they love to do that in this movie.
You have to match sigils with wounds, which is like something she does very early in the movie. Like she finds like a leg that's like has like 3 claw marks down it. And that's like a symbol. You're like, 3 claw marks plus a trident with a circle. That means it's this demon, which means I got to take this action. So like that's how you solve the puzzle.
Right.
But for anybody else who doesn't like attach themselves to this game are just gonna be like, yeah, I guess that's whatever.
Yeah.
And I bet like Valerie is in, I don't know, the good ending or the bad ending or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you discover that or something. But yeah, otherwise for just a cold watch, it doesn't mean anything to anybody.
Yeah, that's what I was worried I would miss something at some point. Because like, why do I care about Valerie? But anyway, Valerie is essentially the corpse that has a demon in it that the boss is using to continually he's got her like trapped in like a little like almost Iron Maiden looking thing without the spikes, I think, and he's just got her in there so she can he can take blood from her and use it to make more of this reagent, I guess. So he's kind of like that, he's just using her for that purpose. I don't know. You burn the paper and symbols show up on the walls. I don't know. It's video game puzzles, but all this stuff's happening and it doesn't make any sense to a person that hasn't watched the game or hasn't played the game. Eventually, she thinks she's found and burned the right corpse. And she shoves him in there, and a symbol starts burning in his head, and she's like, "Aha! I got it." Sticks his ass in the incinerator, burns him, and she thinks it's like she's won, right? But then the little pale guy who we keep seeing throughout the movie, he's credited as the mimic. I assume the game explains more who this person is. I guess it's it's the fact that it's called the mimic, I guess, is probably it's the entity that is masquerading as these loved ones and people in her life, I guess. But is it the demon? Is it another demon that's assisting the ones that she's burning? Like, I don't know the answer. There's no way of knowing the answer from the movie. But the pale guy's still chilling in the basement. And why he's reserved to the basement, but then later he's outside. But he seems to his main HQ seems to be in the basement. It's never explained why that's the case. But it is explained because they keep hinting at she's got demons in her past. She's got a troubled past. Obviously, we know she had some substance abuse issues, and we know something happened to her dad, but we're not sure what. And the whole time, you can tell, everyone can immediately tell she did something that resulted in her dad's death, right? So you think it's going to be, maybe she he died in trying to save her, or who knows, could be a drunk driving incident or something like that. But you think that's what's going to happen, right? But then, I'm jumping ahead just a little tiny bit. But the ghost dad pops up when you think everything is good. The ghost dad pops up, throws her down the stairs, and then she has to face her real demon, which is either that her dad is just a klutz, or the pale guy apparently scared her dad and made him fall and hit his head while he was trying to find her passed out in the woods, because she was like, I don't know, she was on drugs. They don't say what drugs. They're like, she was doing drugs with a Z out in the woods, and she passed out. And we heard a phone call earlier of the dad calling the police saying, "I got to report my daughter missing. She's getting high on DRUGZ." And they're like, "Well, how long's she been gone?" "Well, she's only been gone for a few hours, and the cops aren't helping. So whatever." So he goes out in the woods, just finds her seemingly comfortably chilling on a riverbank, and starts freaking out.
She got hide down by the creek.
Yeah, she got stoned down by the creek. Seems honestly pretty chill. Like, just let her be.
Yeah.
But he's like, all right, I gotta go get help. Leaves her there. Doesn't like carry her. Is not a hero or anything. Just leaves her on the riverbank. Goes running, and sees the little weird pale guy. Gets spookumed. Whoa! Falls backwards. Cranks his head on a rock and dies. So that is supposed to be her big secret. Like, her big shame is that her dad fell and hit his head and died when he was out trying to find her. Now, I understand how that would result in some guilt, but here's my question. The demon was already in her life at that point? Like, the demon was like, what? What the fuck are we? That completely betrays the whole thing we were explained earlier.
Yeah, it betrays all of the rest of her life. Of like, oh, you didn't actually do anything. A demon stood up and spooked your dad, and is that what really happened? And like, is this what she's seeing, or is, are we doing something subtextually and saying, the demon of her substance abuse, is still what caused her dad to die? And it just doesn't, it doesn't gel in any way that's satisfying.
We didn't need a physical representation of that. It could have been a raccoon that scared her dad and he fell and hit his head. He's still out there for the same reason. So I don't know. It just, it doesn't jive with the supernatural. They made it way too, they never left it up to interpretation as to whether or not this was something that was all surface level supernatural shit, or whether it was more symbolic in her, addict mind or whatever. It seems like, no, this is like, you're wrong place, wrong time. You picked the wrong mortuary to work at, and you got fucking demons come after you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
it's not good.
I don't know.
The wrap up is not good.
It's also just a bad, anti-drug, PSA type film in that way, of if you do drugs, you're inviting demons into your life.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that because, you don't want to do that because you're going to make Jesus sad. And that will bum everybody else out. So none of that fits. And then we have this schmaltzy fucking in a white room. I don't know. She somehow falls into the Matrix and has a heart to heart with Ghost Dad.
Yeah.
And Ghost Dad tells her, no, it's okay. You can, not be upset at yourself for all that you did. And then I don't know, what, it's like the scene from Contact. You're having a conversation with your dad that isn't there. But is he there? But is the demon also just trying to trick you again? None of it fucking, it doesn't gel. None of this gels.
No, it doesn't. And the thing is, ultimately, her, quote unquote, beating her I guess emotional demons does not help her at all in the metaphysical problem at hand, which we learn in 2 seconds. So it was a complete fool's errand. You know what I mean? Because just to summarize, this is how you write a bad script, right? You start by following all the rules and killing the one demon, but the other demon's still there because it's linked to something in your subconscious. You face that thing in your subconscious, assumedly defeat it, but then in 5 seconds from now, you're going to see that it's still there, and your problem is basically never ending. I mean, I get that. I guess you could make the comparison or draw the simile here of an addict. You never are cured. You're always a recovering addict, and you always have to remain diligent, or else you could relapse, and all those things. I understand you could make that comparison, but it feels like that and the actual metaphysical demon shit that she's been introduced to are not very close. The link is tenuous at best, I guess. But let me explain what happens. So Becca ends up going down, letting Valerie out, which is stupid. Why'd you do that? This is a complete dumbass move. She is also actually a demon too. No shit. Everyone saw that coming.
She was told ahead of time she was a demon.
Yeah, but she thinks she's killed all the demons. She thought the first time she killed all the demons by killing burning the guy. But then no, pale guy's still here. Then she faces her fears with how she inadvertently killed her clumsy dad. He became Ghost Dad. Okay, fine. Now she's she thinks she's done it again. So it's one of those things where it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, and can't get fooled again. But like that's that's kind of what we're experiencing here. Because now the 3rd time, she's like, oh, I've clearly solved everything now. Let the previously demonic woman out of her cage. She attacks her immediately. Luckily, boss shows up, flashes his sick prison tat, and she just runs back into her little cage. And they keep Valerie back down in the basement so they can, keep making the reagent. And at this point, you're like, to what end? Why do we care? Boss explains he's doing this and has been doing this for a long time to survive. And my question is, then why are you just getting that tattoo now? But I don't know. Let's not nitpick here. But he explains that it's gonna keep happening it's been happening to him for a long time. It's gonna keep happening to her. Apparently, both of them, again and again, and they're gonna keep having to, play this fucking video game in the form of a movie. She walks out. She's like, nah, dog, I'm out. Walks outside, sees some like people playing touch football in the yard across the street, glances away, and then, or maybe a car passes. I don't know. Something breaks her line of vision. And then she looks back and there's the mimic, the pale, skinny guy creeping in the woods. And I'm like, didn't she defeat him when she defeated her, fears or whatever? Had the scenario with Ghost Dad? Apparently the answer is no. This is going to continue happening forever. She turns around, walks back inside, and is like, hey, basically resigns herself to like, I'm just going to have to keep, this vicious cycle going for the rest of my life. So
yep,
that's it. So I guess, it certainly could be a poorly written, tenuous analogy for substance abuse and the ongoing struggle with substance abuse and always being a recovering addict and all that sort of stuff. But it does not jive with all the hyper specific like literal occult symbols and weird occult methodologies that you are required to undergo to also, I guess, kill actual demons. All right. I'm going to throw one more thing in here that makes absolutely no fucking sense to me, and then I'm going to shut up. But they work at a morgue, right? And the way that they're coming in contact with the demons is because demons have this propensity to hitchhike in corpses. And then the people who are, vulnerable, i.e., the mortician and Becca, they jump to them. Wouldn't a better method be stay the fuck away from corpses? So in that way, wouldn't being a mortician be literally the last job on earth that you want to undertake? No pun intended.
It is such if this is the rules of the world, and I think there's more to it than what you're putting out. Again, I think this is more of a video game lore thing that's not explained. It is.
But as a movie watcher who did not play this game, I refuse to just assume that the video game fills all the gaps in this piece of shit script.
Right. well, that's what I'm saying is I think from your position, what you're saying is you see it from the space that everything, every corpse would be, a hive for demons in the world. Like every corpse in the world would be a possible vector for a demon possession. I think in the game, it is centered specifically to this town for a reason.
Okay.
That a reason I don't know because I didn't really play the game all the way through. I'm just guessing that it is specifically tied to this town and the corpses in this town. So it's like a curse on this town or whatever.
Sure.
I could be wrong about that, but that's what I'm guessing. But you're right. From the position of somebody who doesn't even know this was a game, it seems like every corpse has a fucking demon in it, and and being a mortician
or has a chance to have a demon in it. It's like having an egg, an egg that has salmonella in it. Like it's really rare, but a certain number of them statistically do. So stay the fuck away from eggs.
Every corpse is a Chipotle burrito with fucking listeria.
Yeah. Like most of the time, with very few exceptions, have been able to stay really if I want to, I can almost never encounter a corpse in my day-to-day life.
Right.
I can count on one hand how many times I have unintentionally came in close proximity to a corpse. And almost all of them happened in Youngstown, Ohio. But yeah, I'm just saying it's pretty easy.
If it worked like this, and that every corpse was a possible vector for a demon, we would not dispose of corpses through mortuaries. We would dispose of corpses through the fucking bomb robots. The bomb robot would come in and throw it in a detonation device and explode the corpse right there at the place it dropped. We wouldn't deal with corpses in this way. So yeah. I want to point out that it's really awesome that the last 10 to 15 minutes of your horror film are conversations. That's a really good way. That's a great way to write a horror film. Just 10 to 15 minutes of conversations.
You know what's funny? The best thing about this, the design of the creature, the mimic creature, which is one of the shittier things about this movie is that it actually, like, the physical performance of the guy in the suit, and I like that it's a practical suit and mask and all that stuff is cool. All that stuff's good. The creature's pretty nondescript. He looks like he just looks like a pee poo 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 man. You know what I mean? He could be anything. Yeah. There's 900 versions of this. Of course, he has a big, oversized, smiley mouth full of teeth. It's very predictable. Like you've seen it 100 times. But the physical performance, especially in this last sequence of him, and the way his posture and the way he's like moving his, like the actual like skin, the way they do like the skin and everything, like it looks pretty freaking cool. But he is on the poster. He is the big, quote unquote, big bad of this movie. And we never understand or ever provided any even surface level explanation of how he plays into this whole thing.
Right. Yeah. And he's probably, obviously he's probably from the video game because they spend so much time on him. Yeah. And they expect everybody to know who he is. Like that's the problem is they expect everybody to know who he is when they watch the movie. Yeah. And you can't do that. Like you have to have that a little bit of expository, the same way they're like, this is Pazuzu and Pazuzu comes into your house this way. And you have to, like, most demonology films have that. Like they have an explanation of what the demon is. So I don't know. I
mean, even just a little bit. You don't have to tell me the whole history and what his weaknesses are and what his favorite pizza topping is, but like, just tell me he's here for this reason. That's all I need to do. That's all I need to hear.
Yeah, he attaches himself to people who have unresolved trauma with their dads, Yeah,
he was literally there for the inciting incident, and I don't even know why, or they never even mention him as the mimic. He just is credited. The only reason I know that he's the mimic and that he probably was responsible for us seeing the fake versions of, the sponsor and the mortician in the movie is just me looking it up on Letterboxd and seeing it's credited as the mimic and then going, okay, that's probably, but otherwise I would have never even known that much. Right. So I get this is all about fan service. They're making a movie for fans of the game. I can appreciate that. But because it stays so close to that, and because it just kind of lets its holes in the script just sit there, and are okay with them being filled in by knowledge of that only a small percentage of the viewing population has, makes it a shitty movie in my eyes.
Yeah, so we're talking about how I have seen the upcoming Exit 8 movie already, because if you have a VPN, you can go on Japan's streaming services, and you can watch it on Japan's streaming services.
Oh, there we go.
And I think a couple other countries have it too as well. And I watched that, and it is, I'm not going to say it's like an awesome movie. It's not great. I think it's well worth a watch, way over this movie. But as you mentioned earlier, like Exit 8 doesn't have a fucking story to it, really. And so
the game doesn't
create it. Yeah, they create it from scratch, and it's okay. I think it has some. I've seen other comments and people like concerned about it being sort of a pro-life message, but it's more. I think it's more of just a not making the same choices over and over, like getting yourself out of a rut, because that's kind of what the game is about. The game is about, like doing things over and over until you get it right. And so they tack on a very simple story about a guy who is just a loser, gets himself stuck in a rut, and then has like a very big choice to make. And, like kind of just like in that choice, like has a panic attack. And the way it's filmed is really awesome, because it's filmed, the first maybe 10-15 minutes of the film is filmed in like a first person POV. And so you're like, you kind of suffer this panic attack, and you don't see the transition from, just a regular Japanese subway station into the cursed station that has the anomalies. But you make that transition, and then like the film is filmed very well. I like the way things are set up. There's a lot of interesting long takes, because it repeats itself, and you feel like you're going around that system over and over, but the geometry doesn't make sense to do long one takes that way. So it's fun that way. It's interesting. And then
it sounds like it's better than this movie, and also a lot better than Home Sweet Home Rebirth as well. Which,
definitely. It's definitely better than both of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then because the game is so easy to explain, there's that poster on the wall that says, if you see an anomaly, turn back. If you don't see an anomaly, move forward. The game is so easy to explain that they can just put that in the movie, and then it works. And so you're just more concerned about like the mental status of the character. And then they do find a way to introduce more characters.
I was going to say, that's the only question. Is there more than the main protagonist, the POV, and the guy on the other end of the hall?
Right. Yes. Yeah. There's more than that, but you do get like more of, like some characters, and you get to learn, and you get a sense of like what that hallway actually is. So
yeah,
it's pretty. Yeah, I think it's better. It's definitely better than this movie and Home Sweet Home Rebirth. But I think it's
well, I will say, as much as I talk shit on this movie, and I did not enjoy it, it was light years better than Home Sweet Home Rebirth.
Oh my God, everything is.
That's literally one of the worst fucking movies. Like now, being a couple of months away from watching that movie, I'm like, that's one of the worst fucking movies I've ever saw in my life. I hate it so much.
I love how bad that movie is. That's the only thing, is there's a spot in my heart for Home Sweet Home Rebirth because of a few scenes which are so exceptionally bad.
Yeah.
Like the Mortuary Assistant doesn't have any of those moments. It's just kind of like
they don't have like the ones where he's like really sweaty and then he's not.
Really sweaty and then he's not, and then like the weird voiceover for the big bad that is like, flamboyant, but also like, pitched down
Shredder
tones.
like.
God, that fucking rules so bad.
And then when the daughter runs away, they turn around for 5 seconds and she's run 3/4 of a mile away across the river.
She's run to a different market town.
Oh, guys, do yourself a favor, honestly, and I mean this. I think sincerely. Go watch Home Sweet Home Rebirth instead of The Mortuary Assistant, because they both suck, but at least that one sucks so bad that you can make fun of it more. Although this one, one of the biggest like blurt laughs I've gotten from a movie in a while is, what does all this mean? It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
You can't hit her with the rock line when you're talking about demons.
He does. It's exactly what happens. Well, all this symbolism, what's happened? It doesn't matter. Yeah, that is exactly what the fuck happens.
Did you run into demons, Becca? Yeah, I think it doesn't matter if you run into demons.
Yeah. You know what I'm actually thinking about when Mick Foley did it back to The Rock. For some reason, that instance of it is really sticking in my head, because then he just points and laughs at him. Anyway, that was The Mortuary Assistant from 20 and 26, currently streaming on Shudder. You know what? Go watch it if you want, but there's better movies.
It's fine for the background. Yeah, it's fine for the background. Just don't don't devote like 100% of your attention to it, because it's a waste of your attention. You can do other things while it's on.
Instead, perhaps go watch some Vincent Price flicks in preparation for our April Showdown episode. Again, we're going to have our old pal Antonio on from the Cult Worthy podcast. He's going to talk about The Last Man on Earth, Rat Fuck Took My Movie. Steve's going to talk about Theater of Blood, and I am going to talk about The House on Haunted Hill. So go watch those movies. They're all fun, and tune back in next week for our April Showdown. And then, keep them coming. I've got a list on Letterboxd. I've got a little collection of movies for punishment episodes. I feel like I haven't won in a second, so I haven't really used them that much. But I'm always looking for new ones. So if you've got punishment episode ideas or Minisode episode ideas, or potentially topics for the old spinny wheel, because we will be spinning that again here in the next couple of weeks, shoot us a line on the social medias, slide in the old DMs, shoot us an email if you want to. We always appreciate that. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this here Minisode, Stephen?
I am not so hopeful for the future if this becomes a trend of taking games that were popular for 3 months and then making a movie out of them fucking 2 years later. I don't like, it seems to be working a little bit for some people. I think overall it's not going to, I don't think it's going to land with larger audiences. But if you do decide to do this, please make it fucking accessible to everybody. Don't make it so tuned into the game that you have to play the game for. You only have to be
hardcore fans, of the game. I'm interested to see the Backrooms, what they do with that, because that's a little bit more larger scale, much more broadly known internet phenomenon, akin to a Slenderman or something like that. So
that started more as a spooky meme and just like a Blender render kind of thing that people could do, but then was turned into a game. But I think the accessibility of just like, if your fucking timeline on social media is cursed, you probably saw some Backrooms or Pools shit.
Yeah. All right. Well, for the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
Steve.
And I'm going to go watch the Abominable Mr. Phibes because I feel bad for not picking it already.
I'm going to go watch Madhouse because I didn't pick that one.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.